Up is a product to help anxiety.
Hi, Sharks. I'm Michael Malkin.
And I'm Lucy Fuller, and we're from Newport News, Virginia.
Today, we are seeking $250,000 in exchange for 10% of our company, Comstrips.
Comstrips are a cool new way to help people reduce their anxiety, and that is just scratching at the surface.
Have you ever had a day like my animated friend Charlie here? This traffic is stressing him out.
This cartoon cloud came out of nowhere, and Charlie forgot his umbrella. Oh, Charlie.
And now his phone is blowing up with angry messages from his comically evil boss.
We've all gotten them. But this brings Charlie's anxiety to an all-time high. Luckily, Charlie remembers he has Comstrips, a healthy way to calm and ground himself.
Comstrips might look like any other sticker, but they're actually textured sensory adhesives. People everywhere are rubbing, scratching, or picking at the textured surface of their Comstrips to help reduce fidgeting, increase focus, and regulate restless energy.
They're reusable and residue-free, meaning they can be stuck to your phone, your laptop, your desk. Teachers and students alike love them because it helps kids manage their own restless energy without disrupting the rest of the class.
So, Sharks, who wants to invest in Comstrips and show the world how easy it is to take a little bit of calm with you everywhere?
So in front of you, I see you guys are all about it already. I love that. So we have both the soft sand and the newer River Rocks textures in the Calm Circles and Calm Strips.
How does this work?
I originally came up with the idea for Comstrips because I, for the last 13 years before doing Comstrips, worked in an Apple retail store. It was a really busy environment, and I found that it was incredibly stressful, and it would kind of trigger my anxiety. So I found that if I started wrapping a little bit of carpenter's tape around my finger and kind of rubbing on that, it would help me to kind of calm down. And science does show that touch, especially tactile sensory touch, can have a significant impact on reducing people's anxiety and making them feel calmer.
So guys, I just don't get it.
What was your market research, though? You say it worked for people.
The reason I say that is because over 100,000 people get it. We have a return rate of less than 1%.
What does it cost to buy one of these?
You get a 5-pack of either for $12.49.
What does it cost you to make it?
The soft sand cost us $1, and for the River Rocks, it costs $2.
I love the margins.
We are e-commerce, so it does cost us a couple, about $3
I
to
love
ship
the margins. How much are you selling of this stuff?
Yeah, so we launched early last year.
You guys hold on to your socks.
There you go. Since then, we've just crossed $2.5 million in sales.
Wow.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Are you kidding me?
It's so cool.
Lucy,
Sorry, it
Lucy,
is
say it again for everybody in the back.
2.5 million.
I love Comstrips. Comstrips.
What is happening?
Comstrips. So we did
It's
one.
true.
We did 1.6 million.
amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We do
Say
our
it again.
best.
You are
That's
making a ton of
amazing.
money.
Blown away too, Matt?
Yeah,
sales.
those are American dollars. 2.5 million. That's a lot for I don't know, an emery board. Like, isn't that what that is, right?
Kind of, yeah, right. Really, really low grade, sandpaper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good for them, I guess. Like, I'm surprised.
Yeah. I was watching it before the show. I mean, and, just from a patentability side, I looked hard to see if they had anything filed or anything issued. No, they hadn't, and I tried looking at it from the utility side, functionally. Yeah, there is some benefit. It sounds like, if someone's trying to take their mind off of what they're thinking about and just start rubbing a strip, I mean, that would meet the utility barrier. But in terms of patentability, novelty, it likely hit a huge wall. It's just a piece of paper, and it's got adhesive back. Does have a unique color to it. So I thought about design and couldn't find anything there. And so I want to get your take on trademarks first, and then I'll jump to an example where I'll show that paper can be patented on the design side. I want to show some examples there.
Sure. Yeah. So from a trademark perspective, obviously the brand is Calm Strips, and that's a very descriptive trademark for this particular product, right? Because these are strips of paper or material that are meant to create a calm feeling in the user. Right. So Calm Strips is, very, very much descriptive. USPTO said so as well. in the application. So they applied for a trademark in the paper class at the USPTO, which is class 16, and they were denied initially based on the application being descriptive, right? Calm strips is what the product is. It's not generic because it's not the category thing, but it is descriptive or merely descriptive. And so the USPTO said so, and so they ended up having to amend their application from the principal register to the supplemental. You want to be on the principal registration database because that's how you can enforce the trademark. But there's a secondary kind of like junior varsity trademark database called.
That's what I was in basketball.
Yeah. So I mean, it's the JV. It's where you necessarily don't want to be, but you can still kind of play in the game every once in a while. And unfortunately, you can't enforce the trademark if it's on the supplemental database, but you can still have a registration. You can still use the registered trademark symbol. And then after 5 years of continuous and exclusive use, when it's time to renew the trademark, you can actually apply for a new trademark on the principle, citing your 5 years of continuous use and your secondary meaning or acquired distinctiveness in the marketplace. So there's some benefits to it.
Cool. Right on. Thank you for that. Yeah, I think our example from last week or whatever it was, they had gotten that. They hung in there for that 5 years. They were So, yeah, it's sort of the next best thing, right? You want to shoot for the principal first, but because it's so descriptive, it sounded like they had to go for the supplemental.
Right, and they were lucky that the USPTO, that's always a fine line. The USPTO can come back and say, nah, that's generic. That is like the thing that it is, right? But in this particular case, they must have said it's descriptive because they couldn't find anything else out there called calm strips.
Yeah.
Right? And so it wasn't generic, but it was still descriptive.
Okay, cool. I just want to show the audience, if you wanted to know more about paper, right? Can paper be patented? Yeah, and the answer is definitively yes. So let's take a look at some Google results I was playing with just before the show. So here at Google Patents, patents.google.com, my favorite resource to kind of go look and see what's out there. It's so quick. The Patent Office has a great search engine as well, but I just usually default to Google. So after the year 2000, meaning some applications that have filed recently in the past 20, 23 years, and you can select US and then design patents only that have been granted. And you can see that there's a ton. So let's go to design patents only. 2,057 design patents that have been issued that have the word paper in the title. And so let's take a look at some of these things, right? Sealable paper bag. There's lots of, paper products in the bathroom. So there's some toilet paper dispenser. If we look at this embossed paper product, this may be for paper towel or for toilet paper. I won't get into the potential functionality benefits of that, but it's quite detailed and it's the exact pattern of dots and embossing and the waves, right? There's true art here. And that's what design patents cover, is the art, the appearance. And it's all in solid line. And they really zoom in, right? As you can see the true formations of the embossing, and it's more of like an elliptical shape, I think, and the spacing and how they have these views. See, view number 3 would actually be a section view of this. And so we'll see down below that here's like from the side angle what the paper product looks like in its final form. It's pretty cool. So, it's very feasible to apply for and to get design patents on paper. It's something they if this company decides to persist, then they could look into design patent protection on their calm strips. I want to share this tab. And so they've got calmstrips.com, at least the website's up and running. They're big into schools, and we cut the video short, but they did share that they're in 3,000 schools, and now they're up to 5,000 schools. So they're still going. They ended up getting an investment from Kevin, invested for 30% of their company for $250,000, and I think he's doing quite well. I mean, you can see they're on a lot of different products on the desk and really hitting that younger youth age group really well. So kudos to them.
Interesting. So he bought in for $250,000 for 30%.
Yeah.
Of a business that sells $2.5 million.
Yep.
I don't like that. Math does not make any sense to me.
He also got a royalty.
What?
$2.50 on every unit sold.
What?
Yes.
I feel like if you're selling $2.5 million a year, I mean, your business should be worth considerably more than, you know, whatever, $250,000 and 30%, right? And that seems like crazy to me. Maybe it's not as profitable as it looks like it is.
Right. Yeah. Well, and Mark dropped out. He said, this is just a single product. He needs the other product lines for scaling. Didn't see that.
Sure.
Damon said, no, he just didn't understand. He kept on saying he didn't get it. He just couldn't get behind it. Lori dropped out. It wasn't as lucrative of an offer.
Yeah, that is interesting when you see like single product offerings, right? That's always kind of a challenge for folks, and right, and we deal with that a lot too from a trademark and patent side of things, right? Is that client comes to us with an invention, right, and it's a single invention type of deal, and we have to have the conversation with them. Well, are we going to brand everything around this one product, or are there going to be other products? And if there's going to be other products, maybe the storefront shouldn't be the same name as the product, right?
Yeah,
that's a conversation that we have to have quite often with clients.
Right. What's a good example of a company that sort of had to evolve? They went from a single product, I don't know, to put you on the spot, into a brand.
Let's see. I'm thinking of. I definitely see it. I'm trying to think here. What would be a good example?
What about like the GoPro, or I don't know? Were they kind of
Yeah, I mean, GoPro was probably their hero product, right? And then as they grew, they had, conceivably they had to add some different products as well, or they had the opportunity to add products as well. And then so I'm sure those products have different names than GoPro, right? GoPro is kind of the brand, but then each individual product probably has its own name at this point, I would assume.
Right.
Which is a good strategy, but something to be, aware of too when you're going to market with, a single product. Is there the opportunity to have more products down the road? And if so, do you want that product to be the same name as the brand that sells the products? My answer would be no. It should be separate, because then if you have multiple products and you end up licensing one or selling one, you can kind of keep the existing business running. It's not all tied together.
Totally.